Hello, neighbors. This is Daniel,
This is Katie.
and welcome back to the Future Neighbor Podcast. Wow, neighbors. If you're following us on Instagram, that's at eFutureNeighbor. We already shared the big news, but we'll share it again. We're pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
That's right. You're pregnant. I don't know what the right saying is for guys. How is guys supposed to say it? My wife is pregnant? I feel
Yeah.
weird saying that we're pregnant.
You can say, I'm gonna be a dad.
We're going to be parents, y'all. And we're very excited. I think in today's podcast, we're going to go through our pregnancy journey, kind of our learnings through it. You know, most of our podcasts, a lot of times it's about like our learnings through life. Yeah, I always, okay, so it's like when you're in it, it's not funny. But then when you're like just a month
you
removed
think
away
it's
from
funny?
it. Huh?
Did anything funny happen
No, that's
about our pregnancy?
no, that's what I'm saying. When you have like a little bit of obstacles in your way, we'll talk about those obstacles. You don't think it's funny then, but now when I think back on it, what seemed like the fears, they're funny now, thinking back on it, right? And so anyway, we're going to dive deeper into it. We want to share a little bit more about kind of the culture around getting pregnant. What are some of the ages that people are getting pregnant in Korea? What happens at work? How many work days do you get off? And then also like postpartum. Is that after you die? Postnatal care? Postpartum care?
Yeah,
Postpartum?
I think so.
Every year, guys, my English falls off by 10%. So anyway, the postpartum care, it's called Tanu Joriwon, and we're going to share a little bit more about that. And if you are having trouble conceiving, you know, we didn't get pregnant right away when we started thinking that this was the time. And so like I kind of empathize, or actually started to feel a lot more empathy towards people who are having trouble conceiving. And so like if hearing about another couple that got pregnant kind of annoys you, then maybe this is not the podcast episode for you. You can skip this one. Otherwise, we'll share what's going on and also kind of changes what we're thinking about and all of that.
Yeah, let's get started.
Oh, whoa. Don't forget our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Gochujar.com, which is Korea's #1 place for Korean food, ceramics, and premium food gifts. I think today I really want to recommend, we got this handmade bugo. Bugo is dried pollock. And it's made out of wood, and it's like a hanging ornament for your house. It's really nice to add like a touch of Korean culture for your home, like a home deco. And just to give a little bit more context, back in the days, like a pollock used to symbolize a deity, like in Korean folklore, that can like chase off evil spirits. And so even till this day, if you go to like a restaurant in Korea, when they first open, they like to hang a dried pollock right in front of the store door, like on the inside. And yeah, its big mouth and its big eyes is supposed to chase away evil spirits, high inflation, low customers, bad weather. Yeah, or heavy snowstorms, anything that would chase away customers. Yeah, even to this day, if you come to Korea and you go to more traditional Korean restaurants, you'll see one of those hanging. But in those Korean restaurants, it's actually real dried pollock, like dried fish that's there.
Yeah.
And whereas this one is made out of wood, and that's that.
So it's permanent.
That's right. Without the smell.
Yeah.
And
it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So Katie,
Yeah.
was this pregnancy planned, or was this a surprise for us? Like, share us a little bit of the details and your first reaction.
No, it wasn't a complete surprise. We were planning. Yeah, I think we said 4Q of last year, we want to start trying. It didn't take long for us, I think.
Should we jump into
it
that
wasn't
now?
too hard.
Like start off with the bang.
I think our reaction was amongst us were very different. Like for me, I wasn't that anxious, like because I didn't think that I was in a like too old or like to conceive.
Yeah.
Like I think I was pretty confident that we are
Nothing's
both
wrong.
healthy.
Yeah.
So things would go pretty smoothly. But yeah, so I wasn't that anxious about the whole process. But I think vice versa, you were super agitated and anxious. And yeah, and somehow around that time we were trying, I think you started to see a lot of like Instagram posts or ads about people struggling to have a baby.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
Got
and
in my
then you
mind.
kind of you
It
went
grew in
into
my
your
mind.
mind, and then you go to like Reddit subreddits and
Oh my
then read
gosh.
about those stories. And
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I thought like, oh, you're going way too much.
We found success in our 4th cycle of like after really deciding that we should try for a baby.
And they say that you should give it a like good 1 year.
Yeah, if you're I think they said if you're under 35 then like and you're just trying for natural pregnancy, you should wait. It's normal for it to take to 1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
But they were like saying if you're over 35 and it doesn't happen after 6 months, you should consult a doctor to check your fertility. But anyway, so like the first month we tried, but I think we were very naive, and I want to share a little bit of like those information.
Isn't it too detailed?
No, I mean we'll keep it like PG-13. Not rated R, but
I
like
don't know if
PG-13.
people want to know that much detail.
Yeah, I mean we're not going to go step by step, like play by play, but we'll just give like a high overview. So like I think like in the first month we were trying, but I think most guys don't know like about like a woman's like ovulation cycle and fertile days and all this. Like I think guys just think like, okay, let's get it on, and then it'll get pregnant. That's how most guys are until you get married, and then like
You're serious.
yeah, you start serious about having a baby. That's when you start Googling that. So for me, or I could be living in my own head, I don't know. But for me, actually no, I just talked with one of my hungs who's a lot older, and I think yeah, he was kind of at the same mindset that I'll just get it on, it'll work. Basically, in the first month we tried, and we're like, okay. First month we tried without contraception, and we're like, okay, this should do it. And then we kind of waited, and we're like, nope, it wasn't, right? And so I was like, not a big deal. And then in the second month, I was like thinking that, yeah, it should be fine this time. And then it didn't work. So then I started to like think like in my mind, like,
And then you started to worry.
yeah. And then like a little seed of worry came into my mind. I was like, man, like, maybe I do have a problem with my swimmers. Or it could be a problem with you. I mean, but I would never say that. But I was thinking it's either one of us, or maybe it's having a little bit of problems. I don't know. And so then like, but I was like, no, we're too young and we're really healthy. I'm sure we're not going to have problems. But then we tried, like, I looked into the, like, I started Googling, and then I like learned that there's like of course, like this fertile window that a woman has their ovulation cycle, and there's a set period, right?
Yeah.
But then I just looked at a random app where you just input like just very basic information, and we got like a generic week. Like this is like the best time to try. And so we tried, but it didn't work again. So I was like, oh my gosh, but I don't know. This is what the app or the website said. So I'm pretty sure it's accurate. And then long story short, we went from looking at an app, which turned out to be completely off, then to we bought this ovulation kit, which is like the paper version, and then you have to check just like the pregnancy strips when they get the reddest, and then and then when they get really red, that's when you like really need to like try, but then it's hard to read because it's like I was like, Katie,
because it's relative and you have to keep like counting.
Yeah, you don't know when is the reddest because like you start trying that like a week before, and then it's really faint, and you're like, I started getting happy. I was like, oh my god, it's getting redder and redder and redder, redder and redder and redder. Okay, this is the reddest day. I think we should try now. And then the next day it's even redder, and you're like, oh, but I'm tapped out. Yeah, and then with the ovulation kits, you have to like try like the best time is like a day later or a few days later after it's like the darkest light. And so reading those lines was very troublesome. And then I think this was around now like the last cycle. We're just like, you know what, let's go with one of those digital readers where you don't have to read any lines. All you get is a smiley face. And I was like, this is for us.
We use the technology.
Yeah, and then we got the smiley face and we're like, this is the time. And then after that, it worked. And so all this time, I wasn't like completely like as super anxious as you were saying, but that seed of doubt was growing because it's kind of weird. And I'm sure people who are having trouble conceiving knows that like every failed cycle, it feels like more weight is put onto your shoulders. And like this doubt gets a little bit bigger. And so...
yeah. Because at the beginning, we were very naive and we thought that we would just get pregnant immediately.
Yeah, immediately, right?
Yeah.
But it's really hard because there's only like 1 or 2 days when the egg can actually be fertilized. Those I would highly recommend if you try to naturally try for couples and it doesn't work, get on that digital ovulation kit. Smiley face, you're good to go. And you'll save a lot of yourself some trouble.
And this information you learn from Reddit too, right?
No, actually, see, when I started like researching on Reddit, they would say like, hey, guys, if you want to just save money during your fertile days, just try to go every other day.
Oh, really?
But every other day is damn exhausting and also feels like work to try to do it that much times. It's so hard. And so I was like, okay, this Reddit, it wasn't that helpful. But then someone was like, yeah, we should do like, by the way, there's like this whole like lingo on Reddit. Everyone has these abbreviations like OPKs, ovulation kits. It's like OKTs. And like, I didn't know what they were. Yeah. And then that's when I started like Googling what those ovulation kit packets, OKPs. I don't know. I searched Google what that acronym was, and then that's what I started to learn about it.
Oh.
Right.
It's their own world and their own little language.
Yeah. Where Reddit started to become very painful for me was like during those 4 months when it didn't work, I started to just read people's like posts about, oh my God, it's been 1 year. And then like
the struggles.
And I started to go down this like kind of rabbit hole, like, cause that could be anybody.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, yeah, like I was just like in my head and I started to really empathize for those people who are not able to conceive. And the thing was during that time, even a lot of people that I went to college with, a lot of girls would put up like kind of these bare all posts that talked about their journey with IVF. And it was very like, it was very genuine. It was very heartfelt and it was very sad. And also like, I was very happy for them because, you know, as a lot of those posts read, like for many people in our age, they're going the IVF route, even in Korea. And it's kind of this silent suffering because like you don't even want to tell your parents that you're having trouble conceiving. And every month that you have this expectation that you're going to get pregnant, but it doesn't happen, then it just gets more painful. And every month becomes more weightful or like more heavy. And then finally, I mean, from some of my friends, it was like a 2-year journey and they were finally able to conceive after doing IVF for a while and reading through that. And then also seeing these like pictures of like 30 needles and vials. And I was like, oh my God, that could be me as well. So like fearful, but also.
I didn't know that you have to go through so many needles for the IVF.
Yeah. And so like just so much like, it's kind of a random process of like.
Yeah, so we're really relieved and thankful that we didn't.
It worked out.
Yeah, we didn't have to struggle.
Yeah.
regarding this process.
Yeah. And it didn't help either because either when I started Googling those things during those 4 months, I just started Googling all of these random things about like fertility. And I started getting ads about like, hey, like, do you have problems? Like, hey, are you infertile? Like, hey, do you have like erectile dysfunction disorder or something? The diving board is fine. I just started getting all of these like, it just kept getting ads. And so like, yeah, it brings you down this rabbit hole. Yeah. I guess for anyone who's listening, who is going through that struggle, like they're probably thinking, wow, you have no idea of the weight and pain because wow, 4 months is nothing. And so yeah, I'm not trying to say that I do, but I got a little like touch of what that weight could be. And so now especially about fertility, I'm like very sensitive or like extra sensitive about like about it, and I really empathize with this issue. So that's why in the beginning I was actually very careful about like also who I let know. With friends too, I was very cautious because like it could be that like, you know, if we have like dates with friends,
They might be struggling.
and I don't want to like celebrate in their face and be like, hey, we're pregnant. They'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, because just nowadays there's so many couples who are struggling.
Yeah. So how did you feel when you got pregnant? What did you feel? What was your like train of thought or like reactions?
It didn't really settle. So it was kind of like half believing, half not believing.
Oh, actually, oh my gosh, when
I needed time to like digest.
Yeah, we had this app, and I knew that like you had to check to see. Like it was like time to check, but it was like the app would keep moving it plus 1 day. And so by that time that we actually checked, it was like
already
like 3 or 4 days past when your period should be.
But I thought I was gonna have a period. It felt like I was gonna have period because I had some like those regular cramps. And yeah, I just felt like kind of just like when I start to have period, like a little bit of pimples on my face. So I was like, oh, it didn't. Remember I sent you a text that I think it didn't work this time because of all these signs.
Yeah, and in me I was like, oh, but in my text I was like, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Well, next month should be fine. Yeah. But inside I was like, I just felt like my stomach dropping like, oh man.
Another month?
Oh man, maybe it is true. Maybe my swimmers.
Maybe I have to
we have
to go get some 한약.
Yeah, maybe we need. Yeah, I remember we said that. We're like, maybe we need to get some 한약, but I was really wary about that too because I read an article on my Flipboard that Jennifer Aniston tried all of these traditional tea medicines and then it didn't work for her. It probably messed up everything, like taking all these weird
you can't
like
laugh at
medicines.
that story.
No, I wasn't laughing. I was like, that could be our story. I don't want to take like Korean traditional medicine. It could mess up your body too. Who knows?
No, but I heard another friend like a few years ago from my former colleague how she was struggling to conceive, and then like her last month, like her mom took her to this 한의원 and she got this 한약 batch made for her to keep her body warm.
Hanyak is like Korean medicine, herbal medicine.
Yeah, and then immediately she was pregnant.
Yeah, but
because it's all about keeping the body warm and having the right temperature. I was like open to the idea. We have so many of those herbal medicinal places outside our house.
If you go to our OBGYN, one of the things she said is do not take hanyak because it'll mess up your system and there's a lot of stuff. And
so take it before you're pregnant.
Oh, I see. Anyway, I didn't want to get into that like alternative. Actually, it's not alternative. In Korea, the older generation really like the traditional Korean medicine philosophy. And then, of course, there's the modern pharmaceutical / Western medicine, whatever.
It's normal.
Yeah.
And then
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I remember this vividly now. So, like, your mom was over because she wanted to spend some time with us that weekend, and I was like, I was considering whether that we should do the pregnancy test after your mom leaves. But then like I couldn't like wait. So like I was like, Katie, I think you should take the pregnancy test. And then you went into the bathroom, and I was, because that test takes like 2 or 3 minutes, and I was so nervous about what the result would be, because like why else would your period be 4 days late or 5 days late? I'm saying it has to be, but then I don't think it is,
like
because
my body doesn't feel like
yeah, and
it.
you said that maybe it is just late, or maybe I inputted the date wrong and all these thoughts, and then I vividly remember just putting on Netflix because I couldn't wait, just because I was in my room, and like I just turned on Netflix, and the first thing that it suggested was, "Do you want to watch Star Wars Han Solo, like episode 11 or 12 or whatever one of those were?" I just put it on, just clicked on the middle of the movie, and I just put it on my headphones, and then I hear the door open, and then I figured if you were pregnant, you would immediately come to me and be like, "Guess what? But I just heard
That's US style.
But I just heard you going to the
To
our
our room.
bedroom, and then the lights just turned off." And I was like, "Ah, shit, it's a negative." Yeah, I just felt like, oh man, it didn't work, and just my stomach kind of just sank. And so then but I was like, "But I think I should still check with you to see how you're doing." So that I went into the bedroom, and then strangely, like a patient, you were in the bed. You had like this
I
what
was
is the
lying down.
electric warmer little thing over your stomach, and then you had all the lights turned off, and you looked like you had stage 5 like flu or something, or coronavirus or something. You were just laying down like a patient in the bed. And then I was like, "Katie, are you pregnant?"
No.
And then that's exactly what she said to me. She was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll try next month." And then you were like,
Yes.
"Yes, I'm pregnant." And I was like,
And then
my eyes became big. Like imagine if you saw like a UFO. And I was like, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" And then you're like, "Check the thing." I am. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I don't know. I rarely cry, guys. And Katie, what she loves the most is when I cry. Like, I don't know why, but she takes like pure joy in
it's
it.
the most sincere emotion I can get from you.
Yeah. And yeah. And then like just a
I
few,
was so happy you cried.
and just a few tears started coming down my eyes. Like, just, I couldn't believe it. And the thing is like, I would have shouted and like kind of like
All
got
the
hyped,
dance.
but then your mom was cooking. And so like we silently just did like a little hug and like chuka, little celebration, and we were just like jumping up and down without sound. And
There was no camera, nothing.
no camera, and I was just so happy that yeah, we were gonna have our own family now. It was really beautiful to me, and like I was just so happy that our relationship had kind of blossomed to this like really beautiful stage for us. And yeah, it was just beautiful to me. I don't know what no, you said something so cute. I was like, "But why do you have this blanket or this warm thing over?" You're like, "I gotta keep my stomach warm for the baby or something. I gotta keep my womb warm or something."
Apparently, you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't really raise your temperature
Too
too high.
much. Yeah. But it was so funny because you like immediately just put this like I mean, I think the baby is probably not even a molecule size big. And you're like, "I gotta start now." That was kind of like how we figured out. And how did you feel, Katie? Just overall, like what?
It was like I said, it was unbelieving. And then I think it took some time for me to like like to settle in because it's too surreal.
I checked that pregnancy stick 3 times.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, I did it like twice, I think.
You
And
checked it
after
2 times
that, I
too?
did it again. Remember?
Oh yeah. You took another one because it
And
was
then
too hard to believe.
and then when we finally went to the hospital and then like did the ultrasound, then I was like, wow, confirmed. That was like more like relief and yeah,
It
I
feels
came
real.
to senses that yeah, I have something inside of me,
Future,
human.
your future child.
Yeah.
You know, in Korea, when you give birth, there's something called a taemyeong, which is a nickname that you give the baby before its real name.
When you're pregnant.
Yeah, when you're pregnant. And where they use it is like when you go to Sanhu Joriwon, which we'll talk about as well, which is like the postpartum care center. The nurses will not call it because sometimes you haven't come up or you haven't like registered an official name,
baby.
like a baby nickname, and they'll call like what are some like common ones that you saw from the dramas? Sanhu Joriwon. There's a Korean drama. Sesagi,
땅콩,
땅콩, which just means peanut.
딱풀.
So something very cute. It's usually like 2 syllables and like very cutesy.
Yeah. Ours is Dewey.
That's right.
So they're gonna call me Dewey 엄마.
Dewey 엄마 어디세요? I also like the name Rocket, but then Katie was that it's too aggressive.
It is. It's not cute.
I like the name Rocket though. So much energy. I like that.
You can call it a rocket.
And you'll call it Dewey?
Yeah.
So we'll have... No, I think we have to be unified on this one, Katie. Dewey now is how many weeks?
13 weeks.
And how was the first 13 weeks for you?
Just past the first trimester.
How was the first trimester for you, Katie?
Oh, it was pretty rough because of morning sickness and nausea.
You had a lot of morning sickness.
I threw up a lot and like remember I couldn't eat much and like I think we told our parents that we are pregnant like kind of a little bit later.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Yeah, and then when my mom was here, she like when she didn't know that I was pregnant, like she would do a lot of cooking. She would cook anchovies and all the smell in the kitchen will like drive me crazy and like but then like we haven't told her that. So like she doesn't know anything and like she would cook and then from the smell I would throw up in the veranda.
Yeah, you'd be outside and then your mom's like, I can't wait for lunch. And you're in the back. I feel so bad, but we
yeah, and I wanted to tell her quick because of this nausea stuff, but you were like, let's make it a surprise. Wait until Christmas. So like we waited.
Yeah, we had a few weeks left till Christmas.
Yeah, and then I really lost appetite. So like normally I love eating rice. Like I can just eat rice and seaweed and that's still a good meal for me. But nowadays, like I don't even want to touch a pinch of rice. I turned into noodles person.
Yeah.
And then like all this citrusy stuff like lemon, lime, tomato, all these things are like what I crave. But like no, all these other like supposedly tasty food, all the fast food or like rice, just all the other, even Korean food, I didn't want to eat. So I actually lost weight.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you lost weight. I think.
But apparently it's
normal,
yeah. But especially if you have nausea.
I think having morning sickness, it really depends on pregnancy because my sister didn't have it. One of my other friends I asked, she said she didn't have a single case of morning sickness throughout her entire pregnancy.
That they didn't have it. And I said, oh, you're really lucky.
I don't know. Every culture seems to say different things. Some people say if you have morning sickness, then it's going to be a boy. Every culture or like everyone has their own idea. They're like, like sometimes we meet other people and they're like, oh, you like vegetables? It's going to be a girl.
Or if you crave meat, it's a boy.
I think your mom was like, if you sit on something cold, it's going to turn into a boy or was that someone else?
Yeah. Funny enough, while I lost weight, Daniel has gained weight. I don't know who is the one who's pregnant.
No, there's a reason for that. Because every time we dine out, Katie can only eat like 50% of her normal portion. But it's so aka, or like it's so like wasteful to like throw away that entire dish that she ordered. So like what started off as me eating like let's say we had like tonkatsu or fried cutlet, and there's like 10 pieces. I'll eat my 10 pieces, but she'll eat behind 5. And so normally I would just eat like 1 or 2 and I'll be stuffed. But then the next time we have it, like my stomach has slowly got bigger or my appetite has grown. So now I'm taking 2 or 3 and now I'm just taking like all of it. So right now I'm gaining weight and you're losing.
I know. What an irony.
I know. I'm trying to lose weight now. By the way, even today I wanted to order a thing of mandu, but I was like, nah, I can't. Yeah.
But you've been really like good. You've been cooking a lot for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I appreciate it.
So Katie, let me ask some of the questions that people would ask.
Q&A time.
Would you right now?
Okay, I know what it is.
Let me ask it.
Okay.
Do you want a daughter or a son? And explain why.
It's so difficult. It is so difficult.
Okay. Where are you at now? Because you were going back and forth.
Yeah. Initially, before I got pregnant,
yeah.
I was like 100% I would be super happy to have a girl.
Uh-huh.
Because so cute. Mother and daughter. We can do all those things together.
That's not the reason.
What do you mean?
No, that's right. The other reason. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Okay.
And then, but then now, like I went through a lot of changes in my thoughts.
Yeah.
And then now I think a boy would be good too for
Why?
different reasons. Because with the boy, I can send you and the boy to some ski, and then I can just watch my K-drama at home.
So you could have some more, like boys would be a little bit more independent. They wouldn't have to be right next to you all the time.
Yeah, I feel like they'll have more like common activities to do with you.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah. And I can have more free time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this a little bit too mean?
No, I remember one of our friends, she was like, if you have a daughter, they'll be emotionally tied to their moms. And they'll wreck you emotionally. Remember, that's what she said?
Yeah, and a boy is just physically demanding.
Yeah, but a daughter is like emotionally draining.
Yeah. But I think it's good. There will be like good and bad in either way. Like there will be like a lot to cherish in just different ways.
Yeah, but like my parents say, 남자들 쓸데없다고 아들들. Like sons are useless.
I think your parents want a daughter, right?
Oh, they have my sister.
Oh, your sister.
Oh, you mean my for their grandchild
us.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they want
because your sister has a daughter, but they also want a daughter.
Yeah, I think so much has changed because during my parents' generation, all throughout Asia, everyone like wanted a guy because a boy brings in money.
Yeah.
But that has changed with our generation.
Most people would say they would want
a daughter because the daughter takes care of their family, whereas the guys just go and make their own families and forget about their parents.
Yeah.
It's so
good lesson.
Yeah. We should also talk about like how we share to our family. Do you want me to go first? And then
talk about your parents.
Yeah, so like I was waiting because like we figured out like maybe just a little bit in December that we're pregnant. So we're like, you know what? Why don't we share with them for Christmas? It'd be a nice surprise. And in the back of my mind too, it's like I didn't want to like tell the world or my parents and family and only for, what if you had a miscarriage or something like that? I think that's in the back of every early like pregnancy troubles and worries. And so Christmas was right around the time when it would be around 10, 11, 12 weeks. And so thought that would be good. Basically, since they're not here, I kind of wanted to see their face reaction. I mean, yeah, it would be ideal if I could just see them in person and tell them, but I couldn't do that. So I got this real like kind of idea and it worked out, executed perfectly. It went perfectly. I got this Christmas tree ornament, just this random one. And
Yeah.
it was kind of expensive. It was like handmade. I took off the lid and I put the baby photo, one of the ultrasound baby photos in it. And I popped the lid back on and I mailed it off to America.
Mm.
But I was really nervous because that thing is really fragile. Of course, a Christmas tree ornament, that it would break. And then that would ruin the whole thing because there'd be a bunch of glass and then like a picture of a baby.
Yeah.
And so, during Christmas, around that time, my mom got it and she was like, hey, you guys, I saw that you sent a box, an ornament. And I could totally tell that.
That's it.
Yeah, that was kind of like her voice, like so random. Like, why would you send such a, like, and so, yeah, that was kind of her tone. And she's like, wow, kind of cool. Was it handmade? To make it feel like thank you more.
Yeah.
But her reaction was like, why would you send something like this so random? Yeah, so she like put it on the Christmas tree, and then and then she was just like, thanks. And and I just hung up. I only knew later when my sister was like, yeah, Mom, when she first got the ornament, she's like, why did he send one? He's so weird. I mean, if he sent ornaments, why did he send a set of them? And so during Christmas Day, I called my parents or Christmas Eve, and I was like, hey, bring that Christmas ornament. I put some money in it. And I was like, ha, ha, ha. And then they're like, maybe they believed it or not, but I didn't want them to pick up on it too quickly. And so my mom had put it on this like she had put it first on the Christmas tree, but then she moved it to this like Christmas reindeer or something like that. But then my mom was trying to take it off the reindeer because I was like, bring that ornament to the couch where I could see you, where the iPhone was, and we were like screen sharing. Yeah, she took it off the reindeer, and then it was on her hand, and I was like, take off the top. But as soon as she plugged on the top, the whole thing like broke.
Shattered.
It shattered, and my mom was like, oh my god. And my dad was like, 에이, 그걸 어떻게 그걸 또 부시고 그렇게 난리야. Like, how could you break that? Oh my god, it's ruined. And I was like, no, it's okay, it's okay. My mom was like, what's inside? And then they saw it, and
The picture.
and I still can't forget my dad's reaction. They flipped it over, and my dad was just like, 이거
They were
뭐야?
silent.
He was silent. He's like, ooh, ooh.
I was like,
he turned
are
into a
they
ghost.
happy or what
No.
is this response?
No, they were so shocked. They were not seeing it. They didn't expect it at all. And so they were so happy, and it was like I think they were at a loss of words, and so all I kept hearing was ooh.
Oh.
And guess what my last name is?
Oh.
Oh. Daniel. Oh. Right.
That's not funny.
I'm sorry, guys. And so that's
Yeah, but they were happy. They
Yeah.
were like, this is the best Christmas present.
And after I told my parents, I kind of felt like it made me feel like now we were like
It's
I was
more real.
I was finally able to, because I wanted to, start telling people so we could share
Yeah.
the good news, like John the disciple, just share the good news to everyone. And so, of course, you got to tell the parents. And so that triggered, and I was really happy. And Katie, like, how did we share with your parents?
Yeah, it was about the same time too. Like
just
my
the day
mom
after.
was in our house, and then we were spending Christmas together, and then we bought a mini Christmas cake, and then at the back of the Christmas cake we attached the ultrasound photo.
We put it underneath the Christmas cake.
Yeah, and then like I asked her to lift up the cake, and then she saw the photo, and then like
Your mom was so fast. Though.
yeah, she was really fast. She was like, "Whoa, when?" And then she was like, "Congrats!" And then like she cried, and I cried, so we
Yeah.
were both crying.
Oh, it was such a genuine moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was beautiful. I think you kind of like worried about what your mom's reaction would be, because like you kind of told me growing up that like your mom was like very like kind of cool about like, oh, like if you have kids, don't make me become the grandmother that has to just stay at home and take care of it. And
yeah.
it gave you like a negative like connotation that maybe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then like when you saw your mom's just like joy about it, I think that like put you over the edge too, and just like,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. Yeah, and then
Yes.
she's been really caring for me. So like I think immediately the day after she bought some beef and
Haru,
made
yeah.
mukbuk, beef radish soup, and
Yeah.
like all this food that I say I want to have, she
Yeah.
would cook it.
She's
And
been like a master chef. She's been
yeah,
like cooking it up every time, making panchan and all this good food
yeah,
so that we could have a good healthy baby. And so
yeah.
yeah.
And then there were some, like, before the news, there were some grumbles that she had against me, but then she said like she decided everything went away when she heard that news, so I was saved.
Oh yeah. There's yeah. Little fights, skirmishes and stuff.
Yeah.
So of course, yeah. Yeah, and so needless to say, like with deciding to get pregnant, trying to have a baby and the pregnancy and then like going to the hospitals and just all the questions you have as a first time parent, like the last Q4 from October to December was just like it was so fast. It was like a tremendous.
But it's at the same time very kind of like daunting too, because we don't know anything about parenting or pregnancy, delivery, labor. So slowly we're teaching and learning.
Yeah.
Then
But I think I don't know if this may sound weird, but it's kind of like starting a new business. Like you don't want to know everything about rearing a child and about pregnancy, like all the small details. I think because it gets so scary and it gets so like overwhelming that it's just good to figure out as you go.
my biggest fear right now is the labor. So I started to watch YouTube videos
Yeah, but
about
Katie, don't
this
go too
breathing
far into that.
exercises.
Oh my
And
gosh.
oh.
You're already having nightmares every day.
Yeah,
Every night.
I am having nightmares, guys, and it's really like violent nightmares. Even yesterday, I saw someone cut off fingers, and oh, it was just too gross in my dream.
I think we could talk about a little bit more about like some of the benefits and like how it is like when you get pregnant. You will talk about some of the like the government benefits that you get and also about the work policy, like how much days you get off, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, so in Korea, the birth rate is so low that government puts a lot of efforts into all these benefits, like both financial as well as non-financial benefits to people, like the families with children. I think the biggest thing for me is that I can take 1 year off from work for the like as the pregnancy leave.
But it's not 1 year paid. It's just the right to return. You can take a temporary
Right to
leave of
return.
absence from work.
But the government pays you a minimum of like kind of like $1,000 a month.
For the entire year.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a lot, but it's still something.
Yeah.
So can benefit from that. Yeah, so the good news is I'm going to be taking break from work from next month. Woohoo!
Yeah. I'm really excited for you to take a break. I mean, up till now in your life, I don't think you've been able to ever take a break from just everything, whether it's from school, whether it's from work.
So waiting for that break.
Yeah, and you get to have some time to yourself and you can do some taegyo.
Yeah. What is taegyo in English?
It's like pre-birth care for
prenatal care.
Prenatal care, where like everyone has a different approach. Some people will go and listen to classical music, or that seems to be like the advice by every Korean parent is like listen to classical music so your kid can come out smart. But I think that nowadays, like the tip is for soon to be mothers is just to go relax your mind and do activities that
you like
make you happy.
Yeah.
That give you serotonin. And so, what do you plan to do, Katie?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just too excited.
You could just be parked on the couch watching Netflix, Probably not.
Yeah. I want to read more books,
Yeah.
and I want to do some also personal studies. Oh, my mom encouraged me to buy this the Hanja book, 1,000 letters of Chinese characters. So
I don't know why you're
I'll be
doing
going
that.
through that book.
My gosh.
I'll be doing more Sudoku.
Yeah, we bought we bought some Sudoku books to do before going to bed.
Yeah.
But somehow that seems to giving me more stress. Sudoku is hard,
I've
y'all.
been enjoying it.
Sudoku is hard.
Yeah. And then we're gonna do some travel
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So in March we will be going to California to spend some time with your family. And yeah, I think time will pass pretty fast, but I really want to make the most out of it during that time.
I think
Maybe
we'll go to Japan as well.
yeah, like
February.
a short trip to Japan to see a friend and do some baby shopping.
Yeah.
Then I want to do, yeah, I just want to do relax like unscheduled days.
Yeah. You finally have some time for yourself. No, I'm like, I really think you deserve it. And like you've never had a time like a sabbatical year where you could just do nothing, and you've always just
Yeah.
been working. So
Yeah,
it'd
but
be
I'm really lucky because before it used to be that you can only take the pregnancy leave just before like giving birth, like towards the end of your third trimester, then you can start taking the break from work.
yeah.
But the law changed like last year or something, that you can take it whenever you want. So even while you're pregnant, like even in your first trimester, if you want to take the leave early, you can. So I think like I'm the first in my like whole team to take this early pregnancy leave. So yeah, that's why I can get to have some time like before giving birth.
Yeah. In Korea, there is two types of break that they give you. One is 출산 휴가, which is like delivery or like giving birth
Labor.
or giving labor holidays.
Yeah.
And so you get 3 months off.
Yeah.
And those you said was all paid by your company
Yeah.
or the government
Yeah. Company and government combined.
combined. That's paid.
Yeah.
And then there's something called
육아
휴직,
휴직.
which is just like
longer term leave.
yeah, like a leave of absence for new term parents, and that can last up to 1 year.
Yeah.
And so that 1 year is not paid by your company, but it's partially funded by the government. So you get like money every month on like allowance. It's nowhere near your full-time salary. And so it's also kind of a luxury. So if you're a little bit more financially stable, you can take off up to that much time. They're giving you the option. And then the company has no right to fire you. You can always go back after 1 year.
Yeah.
But I think next year they're trying to make that even longer, up to 1 year and 6 months. I heard.
Yeah, I think so. Every year they're adding more benefits. I think from this year onwards, to parents who have like less than 1 year old child, the government will give you $1,000 per month.
Yeah.
It increased from maybe 70만 원 from last year.
Yeah. But I think that number needs to keep going up, because not only for, of course, well, the ideal case is that you also have a partner that's making money, that's covering your costs. But if you're like a single mother and you have to quit your job, but all you get is like $1,000, that is not nearly enough.
Yeah, because
You have no
ultimately
wage.
you have to
Fund.
spend your savings then,
Yeah, exactly.
because that's not enough. So yeah, I don't think it's a comfortable position in either way, but
But it's getting better, and I'm like applauding that they're spending like government or our tax money on incentivizing new parents and pregnant women and making that process easier. That has to be the case, because we're running extinct. Korea has the lowest birth rate in the world, and so like they need to increase the incentives there, or and I think these are like small improvements that add up towards the whole experience. And they also gave you like in Korea, if you have a certificate that you're pregnant, they'll give you like this separate debit card where they just infuse you with money to cover the hospital bills. I think it was like $1,000 up front,
Yeah.
and then the like your insurance will pay. The national health insurance will already pay for like 60-70%, but then the remaining 30% you can pay it from that $1,000 that they load up front. So it's getting really nice in Korea, making it much easier than, of course, our parents' generation, which had nothing. So kudos.
It's kind of a little joy to like learn about these benefits and make use of them.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Plus, you got the little subway card, or like the how like in the subway there's a like spot for pregnant ladies, and the elderly.
Pink seat.
Yeah, the pink seat. You can get a badge from the subway office that like kind of shows that you're pregnant.
You put it on your bag.
Yeah, and so like I think Katie was so excited to use that.
I know, but it's also at the same time embarrassing too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it identifies that you're pregnant.
No, because like technically you have a priority on those seats.
Yeah.
But let's say if there's some ajumma or some like grandfather who's sitting there.
Yeah.
And then like
can
I tell them to move out?
You just gotta give a
or like
and then like flash the little pink badge.
The best would be just if I stand in front with my badge showing, they will just like stand up and just let me have the seat. But just even the act is kind of like awkward. So I proudly take the seat when it's empty.
But when it's occupied?
I don't then like I kind of hesitate.
This is the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. Extrovert does not have a single ounce of worry about that. You flash that badge like you're a cop. That's what I would do. In fact, I would just stand up, sit in this pink seat. The next station stop, I'll move over to that pregnancy seat and just be that lady that just sits and like rotates seats just to make sure I could see if every seat feels the same in every cabin.
No, but like most of the times that seat is empty.
Yeah.
So I'm really like amazed.
Wow, that was almost already 1 hour just talking about this. I want to. There's one topic that I really want to go into depth about. Like, IVF is like we have so many people that are having twins.
Yeah.
And before we were pregnant, of course, we weren't looking into this, so we just thought, wow, that's like really good luck.
I mean, it's like supposed to be very rare.
But I guess in IVF, by the way, Korea is like technology for IVF is like one of the best in the world. So a lot of people come to Korea to do IVF. And when I'm not going to explain IVF, but if you're curious, go in. It's like kind of medical breakthrough, and well, it's not a recent breakthrough, but it just revolutionized the way that people who are having troubles with fertility can have a chance to have a family. It's like an amazing technology. Yeah. And so to improve the chances that the fertilized egg will, I don't know what the technical terms is, but be viable. I may be wrong, don't quote me, but they'll fertilize multiple eggs at once, and then they'll put it into the womb. And so oftentimes both eggs turn out viable, and which turns into twins. I have a friend over here, they're having twins. The lady from your work is having twins. Yeah. And so if you see couples that are like in their 40s,
it's more common now.
A lot of them are having twins, and it seems like there's so many people we know in Korea that have gone the IVF route. And so it's becoming very common.
Oh, yeah. So I'm kind of amazed how this changed the whole twin scene. So it's no longer when you ask about a baby, is it a girl or boy? It's no longer girl or boy. It's girl or boy or twin.
Yeah. I remember one of the shops, the taco shops we used to visit, the owner had moved to Korea because his wife, they tried IVF multiple times in the States, but it didn't work out. But they came to Korea to an IVF clinic and they found success. And
Yeah.
so if you are having trouble with IVF, or, you should really explore Korea, especially if your partner is Korean, because of course they can speak the language, but give
And
it a
it's
try
very
here.
accessible. Like I'm talking about the actual those IVF centers.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Actually, in the news, I also saw that, I might have said this earlier in the podcast, but then the age, first time having baby it's moved up this year to 32.
Hmm.
For the average age of a woman
Yeah.
bearing kids right now in Korea is 32.
Yeah. 32.
And simultaneously, the number of couples that are in their 30s getting wedded has passed the amount of 20s that have just gotten wedded. So marriage age has gone up. Naturally, also the child age has gone up to 32. And so I think that number is only going to increase. And so
Yeah.
as that number increases, a lot of people are going to have troubles with fertility.
More troubles.
And so IVF is going to become more common. And
And the technology will only get better.
yeah. And so all these things that I'm talking about, guys, like those digital OPKs, was that what it was? I'm telling you, go with that. Save yourself a few headaches. And of course, for some people that might not work either. And in that case, really empathize. But I think if you're gonna have your own family, it's really good that you start young. It's funny how, like, when you're in high school, or as from a guy, like, or in college, like, the scariest thing you can do is like get a lady pregnant. But then right after, when you get married, just like 5 or 6 years later, the most thing that you want to do is get pregnant. And yeah, you see how funny that is? Like,
Irony of life.
yeah, from a biological perspective, it's like, anyway, yeah. If you just leave me alone with the mic for another hour, I could just go down like 10 other rabbit holes
For
around
sure.
this topic. So that's it, guys, at least for today. So many thoughts. I mean, we got to do another podcast about like,
We
like,
will.
where-
We will
wh-
do more because now I will have more time.
yeah, like, do we start teaching them English first in the house, or Korean? Our thoughts about raising kids in Korean in the public education system, and 학원 문화, and
How to talk to kids so kids will listen.
our approach towards parenting. Oh yeah, that book. I gotta read that one. Areas where our parents messed up in, which I definitely don't want to make the same. Like, I have a few ideas about that. Maybe I'll jot them down in my notebook, and then we could share some thoughts about it.
We want and also want to get some baby recommendation on baby books.
Yeah, if you have any good ones that are really like help give you a framework or tips on how to like educating young kids or disciplining young kids. I think our approach when we learn new subjects, we always go books first.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like reading,
Are you sure?
or at least buying the book and having it on our bookshelf.